So we concluded yesterday by looking at security groups, and that security groups is used on Amazon EC2 instances, while network access control leagues are used on subnets, either private or public subnet. So today we are looking at global networking. Global networking. So, Miss Vera, can you read for us, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
We've been talking a lot about how we interact with our AWS infrastructure, but how do our customers interact with our AWS infrastructure? Well, if we have a website hosted at AWS, then customers usually enters our website into their browser, hit enter, some magic happens, and the website opens up, right? There are two services that helps us to achieve this. The first one being Route 53. Route 53 is AWS Domain Name Service or DNS, and it's highly available and scalable. But wait, what is DNS, you say? Think of DNS as a translation service, but instead of translating between languages, it translates websites into IPs or Internet Protocol, addresses that computers can understand. You can even use Route 53 to register domain names, so you can buy and manage your own domain names right on AWS.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now, most of what we have been doing is working as a cloud engineer or a DevOps engineer. We have not been working or looking at it from the perspective of a customer. What do I mean? You create an EC2 instance, right? You put your website on it. This is the back end. Okay, I was discussing with Miss Vera immediately she came in, and she said, I said I'm in the office. Of course, I might not necessarily be working like that, but she now said, you people are essential services, right? Now, this is where we are going. All what we have been doing is the engineer part, the back end part. But now, what happens? How did the customer access the services that you are giving to them? Take our coffee shop that we were talking about before. What you have been doing is creating a barista, okay, having your invoice template set up, and customer can come to the coffee shop and take coffee. But now, how do the customer want the coffee? How do they access the coffee? Sometimes you want customer to access the coffee, you can bring the coffee to them in their office, right? Using dispatch. Sometimes you feel like, well, I am now a global vendor or a global name, and anybody that wants my service should come to meet me, right? Some people sell goods and services, and you have to go and buy in their stores. But some says, well, I don't want you to stress yourself. I do home delivery. Okay, so how do we make these things happen? We are going to be looking at DNS and Route 53. But when we say Route 53 here now, it's AWS Domain Name Service. Once you hear the name DNS, Domain Name Service, some can say Domain Name System, but understand that it is the process of translating IP addresses to a domain name, rather than seeing, because it's like your phone. I'll give an instance now. This is the way domain name works. Your phone, you cannot store everybody's phone number on your head, right? So what happened is, immediately I call you with my own phone number, what do? You save
Save.
that phone number with my name, right?
Yes.
Okay, so anytime I'm calling you again, the phone automatically displays my name rather than displaying my phone number. Sometimes it can display my name and display the phone number beneath, but it makes it easier for you to know who is calling you. Imagine if you are to be storing everybody's phone number on your head. Your phone do not have a designed technology that can map name to phone numbers. And now look at the number of people in the office. Imagine the customers you are attending to, most especially like customer service. Now imagine families, imagine church members. There are some people you want to avoid their calls, but because you cannot map their name to their phone number, you end up picking the call and say, hello, who is speaking? And then you say, oh, I do not intend to attend to this person. But then, so domain name is synonymous to this. That's exactly what it does. Okay, so let's move on to domain name system. DNS resolution involves a customer DNS resolver communicating with a company DNS server. Please, we need to understand this part, and it becomes this is going to even be a plus to people who are in networking already. Okay, give me a minute to admit. Okay, so I said this understanding DNS is going to help us a lot, especially those that are in networking. Now, when we think of DNS as being the phone book of the internet, or we can think we should assume it is the phone book of the internet. DNS resolution is the process of translating a domain name to an IP address. Nobody is paying me for this thing I want to announce now, but there is a site, Code Cloud. I was sharing with one of us a few days ago. I saw a course there, pick up the course. It explains DevOps to the core. Now, where am I going? Understanding the fundamentals
Please
always
can you spell the code cloud? Sorry.
okay. So Code Cloud. Can you see that?
I'm not seeing it. Where did you put it?
It's on the
Chat
it's
box.
okay, I'll drop it on our chat box.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum.
We are already in class, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning. So just keep wait with us there. We are already going on. So, for example, suppose that we want to visit any company's website. When we enter the domain name into our browser, this request is sent to a customer DNS resolver. Okay, the customer's DNS resolver has the company's DNS server for the IP address that corresponds to any company's website. Now, when we say any, now let me use Regina's company's website. So the customer DNS resolver has the company's DNS server for the IP address that corresponds to Regina's company's website. The company DNS server responds by providing the IP address for Regina's company website, which could be, let's say, 192.0.2.1 or .0. Now we are going to have this DNS in another class when we start our DevOps series. How we can map domain name to IP address on our Linux server. Okay, so this is the customer and the PC. It goes to the DNS resolver. It will ask what is the IP address for Regina or any company's website, and then the DNS server will respond with that IP address. Okay. So read this for us, Ms. Vera.
Amazon Route 53 is a DNS web service. It gives developers and businesses a reliable way to route end users to internet applications hosted in AWS. Amazon Route 53 connects user requests to infrastructure running in AWS, such as Amazon EC2 instances and load balancers. It can route users to infrastructure outside of AWS. Another feature of Route 53 is the ability to manage the DNS records for domain names. You can register new domain names directly in Route 53. You can also transfer DNS records for existing domain names managed by other domain registrars. This enables you to manage all of your domain names within a single location. In the previous module, you learned about Amazon CloudFront, a content delivery service. The following example describes how Route 53 and Amazon CloudFront work together to deliver content to customers.
Thank you so much. Now, I believe that we can all still recall what Amazon CloudFront does, right?
I think so.
Okay. Can you explain what
Was it
Amazon
not
CloudFront?
under Amazon CloudFront we learned about um notification service and SQS and SNS?
No, that is messaging.
Okay, please remind us.
When we say content delivery service, is there anybody who can explain or anyone who can give what they can recall about CloudFront? Someone? We said that CloudFront
I
is
think
a
they deal with
content,
content delivery.
okay, content delivery. Yes, there is something more. We even have a test or a quiz that we did, and we're able to explain some things about Amazon CloudFront.
That one I don't know.
Okay, we said that it helps us to provide service closer to people that are not even in a particular availability zone. Can we still recall this? That we use edge location. Have you forgotten about edge location?
I remember edge locations.
That edge locations with CloudFront can help us to provide services to people in a particular availability zone, even though we are not running our services in that availability zone, but yet customers in that place can access service
Those
at a
services.
faster rate.
Yeah.
Okay, and we can keep our content in those edge locations. Okay, all right. So it is this service of Amazon Route 53 that works hand in hand with CloudFront to provide these services. Now, this is what AWS have tried to do. They've tried to make sure that everything you can be looking for to start up your business
It's available.
is available
Okay.
in the cloud. Everything you are looking for, mainly storage. We are going to be looking at database and storage in module 5. AWS, even though some of us that are doing storage, my SQL, MariaDB, SQL, whatever kind of, they have a replica of it in AWS. They built another one called Amazon Aurora. This Aurora works with every other type of database engine. And you know what they now went ahead to do? They make it about 10 times faster than the normal one. Do you understand what I'm saying now? Like, let's say for instance, my SQL, you can access it within 15 minutes. They make Aurora accessible within 2 minutes. You query SQL or MySQL and you get results in, let's say, an hour. They built the Aurora that you query it, and in less than 5 minutes the result is out. So they give you all of the services you wanted in the cloud. So you can simply sit down and say, I want to start a business and run all of the things I want to do in AWS. Normally, if you want to start your company, you need a website name, right? Say for instance, you start a company and you say, give us a company name, Miss Vera.
Elijah Limited.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Elijah Limited.
Okay, so what happened is, if you want to have that name to yourself, and say for instance you want to have, now have
It says
www.elijahLimited.com.
Elijah.
I didn't get what you called very well.
It's okay.
All right, so now what happened is, you will go to Google host, for instance, or people who host domain names. You want that name to belong to you, so you buy that name.
Yeah.
AWS is saying that you don't need to go and buy that. You can just come to Amazon Route 53 and you buy a name there.
Is it okay?
So they have their
I
hosting
think
services too.
They have it. They host
Oh,
service. They host domain names for you.
so. That means that they will also check if the name is already in use for you, right?
Exactly.
yes, now, yes.
All right.
And they will provide you with options of how you can modify it, that
Rename
it's
it.
not
Yeah.
it's not yeah, exactly. All right, so let's move on. In the previous module, we learned about Amazon CloudFront, a content delivery. The following example describes how Route 53 and Amazon CloudFront works together. Okay, we've looked at this. Okay, so the customer requests. Let's look at this number 3. The customer request is sent to the nearest edge location through Amazon CloudFront. And then Amazon CloudFront connects to the application load balancer. We send the incoming packet to an Amazon EC2 instance. Okay, I think I was using Ivy's company here. Good, but we've got that knowledge. So let's look at this question. Which statement best describes DNS resolution? Mr. Benedict, can you answer this question for us? Are you
Can you
there?
hear me now? Yes, I am.
Yes, we can hear you.
Which statement best describe DNS resolution? Launching resource and virtual network developer, doing copies of content, when we repeat it to the internet. From what you said, a DNS resolution is a customer DNS resolver communicating with the company DNS server, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, launching resources. Translating the domain name. Okay,
Translating a domain name to
translating a
IP
domain
address.
name to IP. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
So a DNS resolution is translating a domain name to an IP address. Okay. So in module 4, we learn about the following concept: structuring and connecting to a VPC. Who can say anything about VPC to us? What do you understand by VPC? What can you say VPC is?
Okay. Is VPC not a virtual private cloud or something?
Okay, yeah, it is.
Okay. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I'm right. But well, to me, since it's virtual private, I was VPC is more like an intranet. Gets sort of right.
Okay,
Yeah.
are we listening?
So I should.
That's why we are here
Okay.
to learn.
Okay. I'm only saying what I think it should be. Like I don't know if I'm right, but I feel it should be more like an intranet sort of, whereby only authorized user get access to it.
Thank you. Fantastic. The key point I will take from there is only authorized people have access to it. Anybody want to say something else before I discuss that and we move on? Or what's your ideology of what VPC is in AWS?
Okay, I think you use this example of a dedicated server that if you are connecting with virtual private connect, it's more like you are only the one on that fiber link to your data center, something like that.
Okay, thank you. Now, I explained that a VPC in AWS is like you having your own AWS within AWS cloud. And I gave an instance like having an estate inside Lagos. Inside that estate, within that estate, you cannot just come in. When you want to enter, you have to provide a card or a pin. They have their own power supply, right? They have their own security. They have different things. They put different things in place. They are running another state within Lagos State. For instance, like your Richmond Estate, New Horizon, all of those big estates. And so that is what a VPC is. You can go to Amazon and create a VPC, have your services there, put securities there. Only people who you give access to can access your own VPC. So securing VPC resources with network access control list. We've discussed network access control list yesterday, and security groups. Go and take time to study that. Using Amazon Route 53 and Amazon CloudFront to deliver content. With AWS, networking is now simplified and abstracted to answer the simple question of who should be allowed to communicate with each other. As long as you can answer that question, then you can set up your network on AWS. We cover the basics of VPC, the virtual private cloud, the way that you isolate your workload in AWS, the fundamentals of network security, including gateways, network access lists, and security group. All method that allows our security engineers to craft a network that allow healthy traffic access while dropping subversive attack before they reach our instances. Ways to connect to AWS through VPN and even direct connect. Secure pipelines that are either encrypted over the general internet or exclusive fiber used by you and you alone. That's our AWS Direct Connect. All right, so look at these questions. Mrs. Rivera, can you answer this question for us? Hello, Mrs. Rivera, are you there? Oh,
Sorry. Please, what's the RDS stand? What does it stand
RDS,
for?
Relational Database.
Relational database, right?
Yeah. Okay, I think Mrs. Rivera is no longer on the call. So, Mr. Shola, can you answer this question for us?
No idea, sir. I've been reading through no idea, sir.
Thank you. I like that. I like the sincerity.
Person.
Okay. Um, Kayode, you should be able to answer this question for us, or Regina. So let me start with Kayode. You were in class yesterday,
Yeah,
and this
I'm
question.
reading it. I'm reading it at the moment. Just give me a second.
Okay. So your company has an application that uses Amazon EC2 instance to run the customer-facing website, and then Amazon RDS, Relational Database System, instance to store
Customer
customers' personal information.
how should
How
the
should the
developer
developer
manipulate this
configure the
test to buy?
VPC
Please, Amazon
according to best practices? Are we there? So,
Yes, I'm there, sir. I'm
okay.
coming
So they
now.
said number one, place the Amazon EC2 instance
Sir,
in a private.
I
Yeah.
choose. I choose a. No,
You choose what?
I
A is wrong. A
choose.
is wrong.
I choose D.
D.
Place the Amazon EC2 instance.
I didn't get that.
Right. This sounds sensible, but I think I will go for B.
I choose. Wait, oh, wait. If everything is private, how will they now access it?
Thank you. I get that.
B,
At
B.
least
I
for
choose
you,
B. I choose
B
B.
is the right answer. B.
B.
I
Who
choose
is
B.
talking? Who is talking again? Somebody is
I
talking.
choose B.
B. Okay.
B is the right answer.
Now, why? Look here. We must know why B is the right answer. We said that Amazon EC2 instance to run customer-facing website, that must be on the public subnet, right? Because
Yes.
they must be able to access the resources.
Yes.
Now, your database, this is where customer information, as I was explaining yesterday, pin your security stuffs.
Yeah,
These
security
are going to
stores.
be in the private subnet. That only people who are your network who need those information should be able to access it. So B
Yeah,
is
they
the right
can use
answer.
the virtual private gateway to access
So
that.
connect that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Next question, Mr. Benedict, to answer this.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes, we can hear
Which
you.
component?
Kayode, are
Which
you the
component
one
of
running
service?
video on that net? Mute yourself. Uh-huh.
Which
All right.
component or service can be used to establish a private dedicated connection between private dedicated connection? Private dedicated connection. Um, is that not direct connect? Private. Okay, it should
I've
be a
mentioned
private
it
subnet.
today. Huh?
It should be a private subnet. It should be a private subnet.
It
Without
should be
the
what?
it should be a private subnet.
No.
AW Direct Connect.
This
AW
is the
Direct
Direct
question.
Connect.
connect. Is it direct
They
connect?
said which component or service can be used to establish a private dedicated connection between your
Okay,
company data
then
center.
direct
AWS
connect,
Direct
direct connect,
Connect.
direct connect,
Yeah, that's the AWS Direct
direct connect. Yeah.
Connect. Thank you.
They use fiber.
Yeah. Okay. Next question, Miss Regina should answer this for us. Which statement best describes security groups?
Yeah,
Which
stateful.
statement best describes security group? We discussed this yesterday. Security groups, network ACLs.
I shall know they are stateful.
Okay, you know they are stateful. Okay.
Uh,
So so far you
It's
think
A,
that is either A or B.
A.
You say what?
security group are stateful.
No, I choose A.
It's stateless.
A.
Yes, denies all inbound traffic by
A
A.
sound sensible, yes.
All right. So
Because they
Okay.
allow,
security group.
because if they allow
The,
traffic in, there's,
Regina,
I
you
say
saying what?
because if they allow, I say if they allow traffic in, meaning just anyone can access the secret, their resources and all of those things.
Okay. Thank you. Fantastic. So is stateful and they deny all inbound traffic by default. You don't just come in all inbound. If you go through yesterday,
But once you come in, you don't need to. You
yes,
don't need to
yes.
log in again.
All right. Who is going to answer this for us?
Which components is used to
Mr. Shola should
connect
be
to
able to
various
answer
groups?
this. We've discussed this
Hey,
before, you know.
I'll go with this one. I think I failed
Which
mine.
component is used to
Internet
connect a VPC to
Internet
the internet?
gateway, internet gateway.
Uh, Internet gateway.
Internet.
Thank you. The next question. Which service is used to manage the DNS record for domain names?
Route 53.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Route 53. Ah,
yes, sir.
yeah, Route 53. All
I
right.
missed this. I missed this. I
Okay.
wasn't in
So,
class. I wasn't in class.
which one?
It was taught
This Route
today.
53.
Yeah, I
It was
wasn't in
taught
class.
today.
Go
It
and
was
watch the
taught today.
video. So, this has brought us to the end of Module 4. And this week, we are going to be starting Module 5, which is storage and databases. So thank you for coming to class. I'm going to post some questions on the group now, or maybe I should let me get the answer to the last assignment, and then I'll post another one
So
and
let's
take it
add
from.
everything
What's that?
together. Let's add everything together.
You say what?
No, what's the assignment? You didn't give us any assignment now.
Yes, it's on the
Let's
group.
add everything together.
I
All
didn't
right.
see any assignment on the group. Oh.
Go and check the group. There is assignment there.
Was it today you posted it or yesterday?
Was yesterday.
Okay, I'll check. I haven't read our messages.
He asked questions, so I announced